Guys, so as you'll notice, this is my first video on this channel, so I just want to take a quick second to introduce myself. My name is Taylor Stump. I'm a general contractor focusing primarily on residential remodeling work here in the central Indiana area. I focus primarily on interior work, but lately I've been doing some exterior work as well. So with that being said, the purpose of this video was just to give a quick walkthrough of a recent tool trailer that I purchased. I've been building it out and organizing it over the past few months, and I've had several family and friends asking, what it's looking like and where it's at. So wanted to give them some insight, but I also wanted to give you some insight because as I was kind of researching and deciding how I wanted to build out my trailer, YouTube was a great resource for me, seeing how other contractors had done theirs, and being able to take little bits and pieces of their designs and layouts and kind of make it my own based on the tools that I had and what I would require from my trailer on a daily basis. So just some background information. It is a 7x14 V-nose trailer. It's got 12 inches additional height with a rear ramp door, as you'll see behind me, and a side access door. So I had the ramp and side access door on my previous 6x10, and having the larger rolling miter saw station and table saw, having that rear ramp door and being able to just roll everything out and roll it back in was a necessity for me. So with that being said, let's do a quick walkthrough. We will we'll start here at the back of the trailer. As you'll see, the floors are gray. Most floors in trailers come just bare plywood, and this one was no different. So I painted the floors using Sherwin-Williams Porch and Floor, and I also used an additive, I think it's called shark skin, just to give it some extra grip. But just wanted to paint the floors to give it a little bit of extra durability, and it also looks better than just bare plywood. So that being said, the back, I just made this simple little tower station, threw some milk crates in there to organize everything. You'll see throughout the trailer I've got everything labeled. So tile supplies, all my drywall supplies, and then up top I've got a just an extra bin for drop cloths, surface protection, and that kind of stuff. So since this bin is sitting on top and it's not really being held in place, I did screw it down so it doesn't fall off during transit. So that little quick tower station that I made out of some scrap has served me well. Being right there at the back of the trailer, I can just pop in, grab what I need, and it's staying kind of out of the way. So on the walls, I've just used these push clips, so everything just pops in and out real easily, stays up out of the way. All my third hand supports, larger broom, shovel, paint extension, and those longer pieces. So you'll see throughout the trailer I've got the E-tracks. I had those in my previous trailer and they worked out really well for me, just being able to clip everything on and hang it up out of the way. I've used these heavy duty bags just to throw all of my push blocks and other table saw, miter saw station accessories, just throw them in there. You'll see my table saw and my miter saw station are both rolling, and they've got their own little parking spots here, and I've got those also secured with the E-tracks back there behind. One feature that I did add in that I didn't necessarily see on other people's is, you'll see it's kind of dark back here, but this black heavy duty foam kind of a bumper there on the wall just to keep everything from banging up against the wall when I'm moving down the road. But those are garage door or car door bumpers that you put on your garage walls. So found those on Amazon for pretty cheap, just to put everything there up against the wall, strap it down, and it's not going to be banging up against anything and getting dinged up. So here on this backside, more E-tracks, hooks to hang all my sawhorses, track saw level, everything like that. So you'll see I didn't put anything towards the back of the trailer, and that was for a couple different reasons. I wanted to be able to load larger items like bathtubs and patio doors, and if I need to haul a small garden tractor or anything like that, I have the ability to do so. But I also wanted to keep the majority of the weight towards the front of the trailer. So I have had to use this space for larger patio doors. I'm able to just go up here, strap across the door down to the little ring there in the floor, and it keeps everything standing up out of the way and secure up against the wall. So that's worked out really well for me so far. Like I said, I love having the E-tracks and just being able to tie off at different points and keeping everything secure. So this was a feature that I saw on multiple trailers too when I was doing my research. This sheet good kind of storage slot back here behind the workbench. So I can fit about 6 or 7 3/4 inch 4x8 sheets of plywood or any other sheet goods like that. So it'll sit behind the workbench and slides up there to that far corner up there in the front of the trailer. So that's worked out really well, and just keeps everything from falling down. You don't have to lay anything down on the floor, anything like that. So my clamps, just got a few clamps thrown in here. You'll see the slots here. These pieces are all on a 5-degree bevel, so when I'm bouncing down the road, the clamps and everything that are in there are just going to have a tendency to stay in place. That's worked out really well for me so far. They're just kind of tucked down there under the workbench and what normally would be unused space, and everything stays in there nice and secure. So moving on to the workbench. So like most workbenches, this is kind of just a catch-all after each job. The smaller stuff just kind of gets thrown up here, and it's kind of just an organized chaos. So I'm still trying to figure out how to best organize some of that stuff. I did find this little acrylic tower as scrap on one of the jobs, so I kind of just took that, repurposed it. It fit up there perfectly and allows you to kind of stack things and keep those organized as best as possible. So up here in this second tier, I've repurposed some deck hardware buckets and used them for all of my brad nails, backer rod, that kind of stuff, and you'll see everything is labeled there as well. So moving on to this side, this was for my tape. This was an extra stair spindle that we had, so I just chopped that down, secured it into a piece of plywood down here, and everything it just stacks right there around that extra spindle, and is easy to access. So all of my glues, adhesives, caulks, that kind of stuff, just in these little storage bins. I took those storage bins out of one of these little containers, I think from Harbor Freight, and it just allows me to stand everything up and know what's back there and easy to get to. So that's worked out really nice as well. So up top, this was a feature again on a lot of the trailers that I saw, the slotted adjustable tool storage up top. So as you'll see, I've got everything labeled here, my circular saw, Craig jig, grinders, routers, pneumatic nailers, that kind of stuff there. So above that, up here in this extra headspace, I used for some longer trim items, drywall trim, quarter round, that kind of stuff. Just secure it there with a bungee. Down below, you'll see that I've got 2 separate drawers. I've got a larger drawer here on the left side of my workbench, and it is for all of my hand tools. So chalk lines, putty knives, pliers, screwdrivers, that kind of stuff in there. All these separators are loose. They've got extra pieces on there to stand them up, but they can be removed or moved around as needed. So the other drawer here on the right is for all my speed squares, extra flashlights, punch tools, batteries, that kind of stuff in there. So down below, I've kept a little quiet compressor, just if I need to use my pneumatic nailers and staplers. I did recently switch to a cordless framing nailer and cordless brad nailer. Went with Metabo. So down there in the space where I once had my larger compressor, I've just kind of thrown those bags in there for the time being. May switch that up and organize that a little bit better, but it's doing all right for now. So the cordless brad nailer and framing nailer have worked really well. I'm glad I made that switch. So it's definitely better than hauling a bigger compressor and hoses and everything through a house. So I've enjoyed having the cordless nailers. So here under the storage drawers and everything, I've got my cordless vac, paint supplies, and then my Makita sustainers for the track saw and multi-tool reciprocating saw, that kind of stuff. Like I said, I am on the Makita platform, so all of my tools for the most part are cordless. The only corded tools I have are the table saw and maybe a couple other items, but for the most part I've gone completely cordless. So going off of that and the battery platform, so I've got my Makita chargers, all my charged batteries down here in these storage bags, and then all of my shore power. So I've got just the longer 100-foot extension cord up here on this garden hose reel. I think I saw this on a Ron Polk video or another video, I can't remember, but that's worked out really well. So I just unwind it, plug it in up at the shop, and I'll run in an extension cord, and it powers everything for my batteries and the trickle charger for my 12-volt battery and that kind of stuff. So you'll see I do have a little 12-volt, it's a 20 amp hour battery tucked down there on the bottom, and that powers my my LED lights. So you've noticed over the past few minutes that my trailer is really well lit. I've got all these LED lights spanning from the front to the back, and it just runs off of that 12-volt battery. So it's worked out pretty well. I may upgrade to a larger battery, but that 20 amp hours has done well so far, so we'll see if I make that upgrade. Going off of that, everything is on this little switch right inside the side access door. So I've got a little voltage reader and a switch, so all my lights go right off this this one switch right inside the door. So walk in the door, flip that on, and the whole trailer lights up. So that's been really cool. Just down below, trash can, cleaning supplies there in that blue bin, and extra buckets and that kind of stuff. So here on the front wall, and more E-tracks, just for larger squares, measuring tapes, that kind of stuff. This was an upgrade that I just made a few days ago, so this is my larger tile cutter, and it came with, or it already had, just a hole here in the end of the metal frame, and I just happened to have this extra threaded rod, so I cut that down. It threaded right through those holes perfectly, so that just happened to work out with coincidence, but hangs right there in that double hook, and fits in that space pretty nicely. So that will be nice to have just tucked there out of the way and ready to access when I need it. So more E-tracks on this side to hang ladders, work platforms, fans, roller, step ladder, all my hoses, more extension cords and that kind of stuff there. So more just go bags, work bags there. Moving on past the side access door, here on another tower station, I've got all my saw blades, 48-inch just ruler there, some wheel chocks, and more storage bins. So each storage bin is labeled, some miscellaneous hardware, sanding supplies, all that stuff, plumbing, electrical, everything in its own little spot. So as you'll notice, and as I noticed on a lot of the videos that I watched, they put these on a back bevel there, so everything doesn't fall out. That's worked out really well. Glad I did that. Everything, as you'll see, is dated in there, nice and secure, glued, nailed. So it's not going to be going anywhere. So that is for the most part it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Go ahead and like and subscribe. I plan on doing quite a few more videos. If I do any updates to the trailer, I will make an additional video, and I plan to also do some videos on tips and tricks that I come across that I think might be worth sharing. I'll post a quick video on some of those remodeling tips and tricks, and also maybe some carpentry videos as well. I got started doing carpentry. That's how all of this started. So if I come across anything like that, that's what I'll be sharing as well. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'll do my best to answer them. But for the time being, I'll talk to you soon.